Social media. Though it's still a fairly new concept, it's found a way to embed itself in our everyday lives. From being able to purchase anything, to playing video games, to being able to contact anyone in the world. So how does social media help our community?
Hi, I'm Jessica Hamilton, manager here at Espresso 825. We use social media here to advertise our specials daily, to reach out to customers, to advertise the sales that we have at the store, to reach out to people that may not be from here, looking for a place to stop.
Hi, I'm Sammy McCleary with Honeysuckle Road Boutique right here in Buffalo, Missouri. Social media is a very important part of our business. We use Facebook and other social media platforms to attract customers from non-local areas. We also use it for marketing our products. We use Facebook for about 70% of our sales. So it's very important for us to be able to have social media. That's how we really get the word out about what we have to offer.
I'm Sheriff Scott Rice. I'm Sheriff of Dallas County. I'm here today to tell you how we use social media in a good way. When someone has their vehicle stolen or the house broken into and we've got a picture of suspects or their vehicle, we'll post it on our Facebook page, and the citizens of the county will help us locate the vehicle or tell us who the suspect is that we're looking for. We also use it for natural disasters such as floods, like yesterday when we had all the rain. I posted on our social media some bridges that were flooded out and you couldn't pass, so when people were traveling home or trying to get to work or to town or to school, they knew not to come across these roads and try to cross these low water crossings. We've used it in the past with some tornadoes. We've used it, like I said, on burglaries and car thefts before. It's a good thing to use social media for if you look for all the good aspects of it and stay away from the bad aspects of it.
Bad aspects? With social media helping so many businesses reach customers across the nation, and law enforcement alerting problems to their communities, how could social media ever have a bad aspect?
Hello, I'm Detective Boland from the Dallas County Sheriff's Office, and I'm here today to talk to you guys about the dangers of social media in general. One of the things that I'd like to talk to you about is accepting or sending friend requests to people who you do not know in person. The dangers of doing that for females or males. For one, you don't know who it is on the other end of the line. For example, I went undercover as a 13-year-old girl. I am clearly not a 13-year-old girl. People don't know that because they've never met me before. And I've met adults who are willing to try and meet me for sex or want sexual pictures of what they believe to be a 13-year-old girl, which is highly illegal in the contents of child pornography or enticement of a child.
So what exactly happens when you do commit a crime? Well, it just depends on what you're charged with. There's two different classifications of the offense. There's felonies and misdemeanors. If the offense is a felony, it could be from death all the way down to 4 years or less in prison. If the offense is a misdemeanor, it could be exceed 6 months in jail all the way down to less than 30 days in jail. If it's an infraction, it'll be a fine. Child pornography is one of the fastest growing crimes in the United States right now. Nationally, there's been over 2,500% increase in arrests in the past 10 years, according to the FBI. So what is child pornography? Well, it's any obscene material depicting sexual contact or conduct of anybody who is a minor, which is anybody less than the ages of 18. So imagine, you're an 18-year-old in high school and you're in love with an underclassman. They send a naked photo to you. Their parents find out. Next thing you know, you're getting questioned and possibly go to jail and be charged with a felony.
As far as dangers of predators, once again, if you don't know the person that you're talking to, if you don't know this person, hasn't met them in person before, you have no clue who's on the other end of the line. So if you're a young girl and some guy starts talking to you and you think he might be just some cute guy and just trying to be friendly, and he starts asking you for photos, it could be some 40-year-old big fat guy who's sitting at his computer doing God knows what with that kind of stuff. So that's one of the things you definitely need to be mindful of. I wouldn't accept a friend request from somebody who I did not know if my life depended on it, and it very well could depend on it one of these days.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and I'm a spokesperson for Safe Surfing Foundation. It is my job and my mission ever since I was 13 to help educate our youth on the dangers of online predators on the internet, and also to educate our youth and the parents on how to be safe and taking proper precautions while surfing the internet daily. When I was 13, my mom and dad brought home our first family computer. It was something really neat that we had never had in our home before. We were excited to explore the options that we now had at our fingertips. One day, I was on the internet and came across a website that our school had set up for everyone in our grades from 6 to 8. It was an area where we were able to talk about homework, sports, and other highlights that were going on with our friends. I got really excited that everybody was coming together. We started our own chat room that we could all just talk about everything, our families, our friends, school, anything that bothered us that day. That afternoon, I got an instant message. I didn't know who the person was, so of course I asked, "Hi, who are you? How do you know us?" And they just kind of came across saying, "I'm a friend of somebody you know." Little by little, he started asking me questions about myself and I about him. He told me he was a boy from the beach, and I told him that I was from a small city. And then he told me he played football. I told him about my soccer team and how we played games every week and practiced, and that my jersey number was number 5. He told me his football jersey was number 5 as well. So then we had another common bond. The more we started talking, he started asking me more questions, but I didn't think much of it. Like, what's your school colors? Mine are red and black. So of course I said, well, mine are black and silver. How neat, those would go great together. So we just formed a great friendship, and it was really nice. Little did I know that that person on the other side of the computer screen was a grown adult. His profile had all the signs of being a 14-year-old teenager, just like we were. He played football, soccer, had friends, went to the mall, went to the beach, and surfed. Everything that we only dreamed that we could do, but we didn't live at the beach. He talked like we did. He had pictures of a younger gentleman that could have been a teenager, and he really played the game well. This stranger drove 4.5 hours and found out my routine. He knew where I lived, where I went to school. He knew when I got off the bus and when my parents went to work. He knew everything about me, even down to where my practices were for soccer and cheerleading. He would drive back and forth to learn these routines like the back of his hand. Then, one Sunday afternoon, it was a day that changed my life. My mom and I woke up to go to church like every Sunday, and we decided to have lunch and go shopping afterwards. I quickly reminded her on our way to the mall that I had to be at a babysitting job soon after, and that we couldn't be too long. After my mother and I finished lunch, we went home. I changed clothes and began to walk to my next babysitting job. As I was walking down the road, I noticed a green truck following me. Before I knew it, he stopped, rolled down his window, and asked if I was Amanda. Before I could answer, he opened the door and threw me in. I was frozen, in shock, and completely terrified. He then took me to a local hotel where this online predator held me for hours against my will. I was brutally raped, assaulted, and I didn't know if I would ever go home again. After being held captive for 5.5 hours, this online predator dropped me off on the side of the road where my mother and the police were waiting. The police gave chase and caught him at the end of the cul-de-sac, where they made the arrest. After my abduction, I felt alone and lost. I didn't think I would ever be the same again. I blamed myself, and I blamed my parents. But deep down, it wasn't our fault. It was the predator's fault. I was lucky. Many kids don't make it home after an experience like that. For the past 14 years, I've made it my life mission to work with the Safe Surfing Foundation to help educate today's kids and their parents about the dangers that lurk on the internet.
Next, we're going to change gears and look at cyberbullying and harassment. A person commits the offense of harassment if he or she, without good cause, engages in any act with the purpose to cause an emotional distress to another person, and such act does cause that person to suffer an emotional distress. So what does that mean? We've seen them on TV and in person. Bullying is not just physical, but could also be mental. A lot of these bullies can start online and continue to progress over time.
What happened here is horrifying. Why it might have happened will leave you incredulous.
She was just a good girl.
Tina Meyer of suburban St. Louis is the mother of Megan Meyer, who had lived a challenging childhood.
She got bullied in school, and she had big self-esteem issues. She had struggled with depression since she was in the 3rd grade.
Megan's mother and father allowed her to set up a MySpace account under their supervision, and said their 13-year-old swooned when she got her first affectionate note ever from a boy named Josh Evans.
He thought she was really pretty, posted on her comments on her pictures, you know, this is beautiful, your eyes are beautiful.
For about a month, Josh sent her instant messages saying things like, "Lucky me and lucky you, 'cause you're my number one." But Megan's mother and father started getting suspicious because although the notes were not explicit, their parental instinct told them something wasn't right.
I did contact the police department, and I called and asked to be transferred to the cyber crimes division to see how can I check to see if this MySpace account is real. Nothing you can do.
And then one day,
it was a whirlwind. It was Josh saying horrible things to Megan, Megan saying things back to him.
Nasty messages from a boy who just a day before meant everything to this lonely girl. One in particular cut deep.
The world would be a better off place without you and have a shitty rest of your life.
Megan was distraught beyond words.
This is the part I'll never forgive myself for because she was looking for me to help calm her down like I normally always did and be there for her. And I was upset with her because I didn't like the language that she was using, and I was upset that she didn't listen to me and sign off when I told her to. And so I was aggravated with her about that and told her that she knew better. And she just said to me, "You're supposed to be my mom. You're supposed to be on my side." And she took off running upstairs.
It was too quiet for too long in that upstairs bedroom.
Tina left, walked upstairs. I didn't really pay much attention to it. And then I just heard a blood-curdling scream.
I just saw her hanging from her closet.
When she just screamed, I was right there.
I tried picking her up.
I held her, and I yanked the whole closet thing out of the wall. And Tina ran and got a knife so I could cut the belt from around her neck and then started performing CPR.
She had tears the entire time running down the side of her face until she passed away.
Just like, please, please, Megan, breathe.
Megan was pronounced dead the next day. When Ron Meyer came home from the hospital, he wanted to find Josh Evans, let him know what he had done to his little girl. The first place he tried to look was Josh's MySpace page.
It was deleted. The whole Josh Evans no longer existed.
A month passed as the Meyers struggled with their grief, searching for answers why their daughter went to such extremes and who was the boy who drove her there. Then a neighbor told them something stunning. Josh Evans was actually the creation of a mother who lived on the same block as the Meyers. A mother who actually went to Megan's funeral. According to an official police report, that mother acknowledged it. The report saying, In the months leading up to Meyer's daughter's suicide, she instigated and monitored a MySpace account, which was created for the sole purpose of communicating with Meyer's daughter. The Meyers were told the other family wanted to find out from Megan why she was having a dispute with their own 13-year-old daughter.
As if my daughter would have killed herself with a gun. They loaded the gun for her.
We are not reporting the name of that other family to protect the identity of their daughter, but did go to their home to try and get their side of the story. Is anybody home? The woman's father answered the door. In a soft voice, the grandfather said it was sad, but then would not say if he thought the police report was wrong.
Have you talked to these people since then?
Yes, I have.
And what have you said to them?
Probably things that I can't say on camera.
And what have they said back to you?
Give it a rest.
Give it a rest.
Now, at this point, if you're waiting to hear what law enforcement is doing in an effort to get Megan and her family some justice, well, you may be waiting forever. County prosecutors, the county sheriff's office, and the FBI say there is no indication whatsoever a crime has been committed, so there are no plans to do anything legally. After initially telling us they weren't even investigating the case anymore, the prosecutor is now telling CNN his office will review the situation. But more than a year has gone by since Megan hanged herself. Tina and Ron Meyer, who have separated partly because of the stress, were told by lawyers it was best to stay quiet. But they no longer are. They are angry and feel they owe it to Megan to speak out.
Maybe your story could help the welfare of another child. someday.
Absolutely.
That's what we hope.
Gary Tuckman, CNN, O'Fallon, Missouri.
The Myers case has helped change the way our court systems and law enforcement handles harassment online. Before you and your friends decide that it's fun to pick on somebody or get them agitated online, just remember you're actually committing a crime.